case of bursitis that made my elbow blow up to like 3 times the size it was supposed to be. And then about a month ago, I ended up getting shingles, which I learned that it was stress induced. And I didn't even think that I was living that stressful of a life. I was just kind of living the life that I always was, and broke out with a horrible case of shingles on the top of my head. Shingles makes everything hurt, like a lot. And the thing that was hurting was my hair. Like, it literally hurt my hair to touch it. And then on top of that, I ended up with something, a side effect syndrome called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, which I did a whole thing about this. Banana had figured it out. The doctors were having trouble figuring out. She put together all the symptoms, and it was manifesting in my right ear. And there was a chance that I was going to go deaf, and I was going to suffer facial paralysis. And the doctors did tell me it's not the only factor. Stress isn't the only factor for shingles, but it's one of them. And I kind of realized that I've been running at 1,000,000 miles an hour for a very long time. I've always paid a lot of attention to my physical health throughout my basically my entire adult life. Ever since the time I was like 17, I made sure that I had a baseline of physical health in terms of strength. I'm a big weightlifter. It's what I do in the gym. And I always wanted to make sure that I was at least benching 225 and squatting 315. I paid a lot of attention to being physically fit, physically healthy. I surf on the weekends, and, I just try and be healthy in that way. But what I wasn't paying attention to was my mental health, because I'm in a creative field, which is great. I love it. Except a part of my daily life is the moment I wake up, the moment I wake up, I'm thinking about what's the next video I'm going to put together. What's the next thing I'm going to do in voice acting? What's the next marketing or advertising thing I'm going to do to get my name and voice out there for voiceovers? And every moment of every day, I'm going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, just kind of trying to come up and create and do stuff and do my life. And I just thought it was normal everyday life. I've been doing it for so long, but when I sat down and talked about it, I realized that it's kind of a crazy schedule I've been keeping. So what I started doing is, instead of waking up in the morning and running right into my booth and doing voice acting and starting creating videos and everything, is I'm taking a little time to just relax and focus and just kind of be there, as opposed to being somewhere else, having my mind be in some creative thing. And because social media feeds are so smart, I was talking about a little bit, and they started feeding me all this stuff about manifesting positivity. I'd actually come across Jim Carrey's story before, the cable guy, liar, Truman Show. And there's a story of him writing a $10 million check to himself. And he wasn't even beginning to be successful at that point. He wrote a $10 million check to himself because he told himself he was manifesting his destiny. He was going to become that popular that he would eventually be able to cash that check. And I started getting fed stuff that Oprah Winfrey did this. Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do it when he was competing in bodybuilding. Some stories about Will Smith doing it. And all these celebrities that kind of just give themselves positive reinforcement. I'm a great actor. I'm the best. I'm going to be at the top in the industry, which sounds kind of crazy because all these people were at the very bottom when they started. So every morning I'm starting to wake up and I'm giving myself some positive reinforcement, some just positive affirmations. And I'm over the shingles. I just finished a 3.5-week course of really serious steroids that were just horrible. I finished all those. The side effects were not awesome, but it was better than going deaf and having facial paralysis. And actually my work's going really well. Things are going, I'm just taking time and just kind of being there and giving myself some positive reinforcement going forward. And so far, I think it's been working. I've been getting fed a ton of it in social media, and it was just something that I wanted to share. I feel like if you've got goals or something that you're looking forward to doing, I think a lot of people are prone to negative talk. Like, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to succeed. And I feel like if you can give yourself some positive reinforcement, I wake up every morning and tell myself, I'm the best voice actor. I'm going to book every job that I audition for today. And, it's not necessarily true, but if I go into each of those reads with a lot of positive energy and a lot of belief in myself, that's half the battle right there. I just want to get that out there. Manifesting positivity is the theme of my week, the theme of the last couple of weeks. And we're going to get to the call, 760-517-6844. First call, you are on. Who's this?
Hey, Pete, this is Max from Illinois.
Max, what's going on? How you doing?
Good. I've been binging your videos all day in preparation for this.
I appreciate that. The algorithm loves it when people binge my stuff. That's great.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing better. I had a really good, we took Thursday off for Thanksgiving. We had a really nice Thanksgiving. Banana made, she cooked all the food all by herself for 13 people. And like I said in the beginning, I've been taking a little more time for myself and just kind of being positive and healthy. So I'm feeling really good.
Yeah, I might try that. I think I'll watch more positive stuff. That's a good idea.
Can't hurt.
Yeah.
So what's going
So
on?
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you get robot eyes if they made them?
That's a funny question. I actually, when I was a teenager and my eyesight was just kind of bad, but you know, as a teenager, I was in high school going through puberty. And I remember someone asked me a similar question. Someone was just joking around. They're like, what if they could implant pig's eyes into your head? One of my friends asked me one day, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't want pig's eyes. Imagine how horrible I'd look. I was so concerned with, like, you know, you're a teenager, you're vain. And that's what I was. And my eyesight wasn't that bad back then. I mean, I played football, I played Frisbee. I couldn't drive a car. I couldn't really see anybody's face unless they were within 3 feet, but like I dealt with it. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't want pig's eyes. And, you know, someone was like, what about a Geordie LaForge visor? I'm like, oh, it would make me stick out so much. I'd never get a date to the prom if I wore the Geordie LaForge visor. But these days, I guess I never really envisioned, pun partially intended, how hard it would be to lose all your eyesight. Now I'd wear the Geordie LaForge. I'd wear robot eyes. I'd just for the ability to get some visual input to my brain, and just how much easier that would make my life. Yeah, make my eyes look as weird as you want. Just give me the eyeballs back.
Yeah, I hope they make those for you soon.
That would be. I don't know. I mean, Elon Musk. I actually did sign up for it. I forget the exact name of it, but one of the offshoots of Neuralink is. Oh
wow!
I think a lot of his tact is just getting funding. You know, he puts it out there like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he gets publicity and money eventually. So I'm not really sure how close he is. I think if we were all being realistic, I'd say it's like at least 50 years away. I'll probably be dead and in the ground by the time they figure it out. But it's nice that people are thinking about it. I mean, these are things that when I was a teenager and in my 20s, they weren't even discussing this stuff. We weren't even close to it. They had no idea how to cure it. And now they still aren't near a cure, but they've got some ideas, which I think is at least a positive step.
You probably don't want the 1.0 version put in your head anyway, right?
They have talked about that. Some of the stuff, it's like the initial graphics will look like an old Atari video. I'm like, that would be weird. Like, that would be kind of creepy. I mean, I've made a lot of adjustments, and I function in the world with this complete lack of eyesight now. I think if you gave me Atari graphics, it might just kind of weird me out. I'd rather go to, like you said, maybe the 1.7 or 2.1 update. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to be the first person with the first beta in my head.
And also, I'm going to send you a package for your show in the new year.
Cool.
And I was wondering if I put a copy of one of my GTAs in there, would you sign it? Oh. And I'll have a return thing.
Yeah, I could do that. Is it what do you have? Do you have Vice City or San Andreas? Which one do you have?
I collect video games, so I got them all.
Oh, I hope I don't ruin the value too much. But yeah, for the people that don't know, I voice acted in Vice City and San Andreas. I actually I have a certificate for a gold album. They didn't actually send me the album because the soundtrack to GTA was so cool. That was the Vice City one with all the 80s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I ended up on a bunch of the CDs. Between the CDs, they were playing Yuppie and the Alien and some of the other things that I was featured on. So I'm on a CD that sold like 1 million copies, and I got a certificate in the mail a bunch of years ago. They're like, you're eligible for, or you've been awarded a gold record. And I kept sitting there waiting for the gold record. I'm like, where is it? They never sent it, but I got the certificate.
Was that for San Andreas or
that was for Vice City? San Andreas, I guess, didn't do 1 million. Vice City was just the soundtrack of that one was so good. I liked it. I thought that was great.
Oh, maybe I'll send the CD.
I got the box set. I have the box set somewhere with all the music on it. I actually still have a 6-disc changer and a 100-disc changer, so I could rock out to CDs if I wanted to.
Oh yeah, I love CDs too. Physical media. I bet you like physical media, right?
I do. Everything, like, thank God they invented text to speech so that at least when I'm touching these flat screens, that it's reading it to me out loud. Because once everything went flat screen and there was no text to speech, I'm like, there's nothing to touch anymore. You know, everything the play button on my 100-disc changer was the third bump over from the right. And to switch between the CDs was the second row over. Second row down, fourth button over was to start cycling through disc 1, 2, 3. Like, I still remember these things from 20 years ago. It's because of how I navigated my entire life, by touching and feeling.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I went to touch screens. I was like, this sucks. But yeah.
Oh wow! So you didn't like the touch screen when it switched to touch screen?
No, I didn't like it at all. I remember I used to set off the alarm in my head. The very first touch screen I had was like an ADT alarm system, and they were like, just type in your code by feeling the screen. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then eventually I got that even activated with text to speech. But yeah, if you want to put that in a box, I'll have a banana point to where I can sign and not mess it up too much, and I'll get it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to putting that package together, and hope you have a good rest of the show.
Cool. Thanks for the call. Day. Appreciate it. It is the live call-in show. I got my iPad next to me because I wanted to try something really quick. If I can just, I'm trying to get into, in the weekend shows, I have Brooks here, and he's popping around in the chat. I got text-to-speech enabled, and I think this is me right now. Devil's Advocate just wrote CDCD. So I'm actually in the YouTube chat right now. I think it works. Someone got made fun of at school today for their what? Oh, for their accommodations? Oh, that's kind of crap. That's a video I posted just a few days ago where I was talking about how I went to school with large print books and a monocular and all sorts of visual aids, and kids were making fun of me. And eventually I just started making a joke out of it, and that kind of worked for me. What is Devil's? He's not trying to give your number out. The Devil's Advocate says, I miss actually buttons. Look at this. Hey, this is impressive. I'm in the, I wonder if I take this out. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you want to hear what text to speech sounds like? Let's see if I can do this. Turn up the volume. Freedom. K46, I'm sorry, don't listen to them. Button. Says, I'm sorry, don't listen to them. Can you hear that? Welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your it says welcome to live chat. For the two, he's not trying. Devil's Advocate. I miss actually buttons. Gene Freedom. K46, I'm sorry, don't listen to them. Button. Welcome to the chat. Yeah. Gene Freedom. K46, I'm sorry, don't listen to them. That's what text to speech sounds like to me. Just that high speed robot voice. I just kind of want to be able to pop it. That's cool that Devil's Advocate is in there. Devil's Advocate is a woman who's been listening to watching she's got eyes. She can actually watch for a long time. Cool to know that you're in there, Devil's Advocate. We're going to, I just want to pop in there. Maybe I'll pop in from time to time. I want to try and do it on the TikTok feed as well, because I know we got a lot of viewers over there. I've got another iPhone over here. I guess while I'm doing it, I can try it. I've never tried this. Let me see. It's 4:37. TikTok. Go to my own profile. Yeah. No, that's not it. How do I know where my live is? That was the preview of the one tomorrow. I can't find my own live on TikTok. I'll work on that in the future, but I guess if you wanted to pop a comment in the YouTube thing, I'll try and pop in there from time to time. I'm just trying to make this as complicated for myself as I possibly can with all this equipment and everything going on. I just want to see if I could up the difficulty level a little bit more and try and get into my own chat a little bit. So if you want to try and drop something, I'll pop into the YouTube one from time to time throughout this thing, but mostly taking the phone calls at 760-517-6844. Welcome to the show. Who's this? Hello. I can hear you a little bit. I can hear me. Oh, come on. You were warned.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. Hey, who's this?
This is Gunner.
Gunner.
In Mississippi.
And they said, and Mrs. Hippie. Gunner in Mississippi. Cool. What's going on?
Nothing.
What'd you want to talk about?
Whoa.
You got a question or something you want to talk about, Gunner?
Oh, the video is delayed.
Yeah, there's a little delay. Just focus on the sound of my voice in the phone. And
it's like 12 seconds.
Well, sorry. Nothing I can do about it. What platform are you watching on?
Android.
An Android platform. Okay. Well, just focus. Forget the screen for a second. Give me your question or tell me what you want to talk about. Gunner.
Yes.
Yeah, what'd you want to talk about?
Okay, I do have a question.
Okay, fire away.
Stub your toes a lot?
I get that question a lot. People are always asking me if I stub my toes, and I guess it depends where I am. In my own house, I'm not bumping into like chairs and because the furniture doesn't move that much. I guess stubbing my toe on a dog toy that Steve left laying around isn't really stubbing it because it's not doing any damage. But that's one of the main reasons. I'll keep going back to this thing, that video that's at like 2.8 million views now, where people are giving me crap for parking in the handicap parking spot when I go surfing, because I walk to the beach barefoot, and there's a lot of stuff I can step on. There's actually a video I've got where Nisha she's like glass and stops me in my tracks because we're walking on the sidewalk and there's a bunch of glass in the way. So I think that's worse than stubbing your toe, is stepping on glass. So yeah, the difficulty of walking from the car getting to the beach is really tricky, but I don't stub my toe in my own house very much because I basically know where everything is. It's the live call-in show. We're doing it every Thursday from now until forever, I guess. The number is 760-517-6844. Who's this?
Hello?
Hey, who's this?
My name's Jacob.
Jacob, what's going on?
Not much. I've been watching your videos quite a bit, and I really like your videos. What inspired you to start this?
To start doing social media in general, I wasn't really comfortable with telling people that I was blind. I'm going back a ways now. And after a while, I started feeling like it was a story that needed to be told. People, not needed to, I wanted to, because I got a lot of positive feedback about it. And I moved out to San Diego, and shortly after getting here, I'd already been the voice of the San Diego Padres for a while, and I started doing some work on Fox. I was the voice of a television show called Mental Samurai with Rob Lowe, and the local Fox affiliate kind of got word of me that I was out here in San Diego. I was a voice actor, and that I was almost completely blind at the time, and I was also learning to surf. And so they did a little story, just a little story. It was like a little 3-minute thing that aired on the evening news. And I got so many emails after that with so many questions, people wondering just so many other things. And I was like, I can't wait for, another network to do another feature, but I want to get these answers out there. And I kind of talked to Banana about it and talked to Josh about it. And I was like, what do you think about starting a YouTube channel? Just to kind of start answering and telling the stories and seeing if we could spread some, hopefully, positivity and inspiration. And we did. 2020, on January 1st, 2020, we went down to the beach with a Sony camera and went surfing. I just kind of started telling people my stories at that point.
That's cool. If you don't mind me asking, what age are you, if that's fine?
I'm old now. I'm 47. I'm 47 years old.
See, I just recently turned 21 on October 30th of this year.
Well, we all age at about the same rate. I feel like my eyes have been aging a lot faster than the rest of me, unfortunately. They crapped out way before the rest of my body did. But as I was saying in the beginning, I've always tried to stay physically fit and physically active. One of the main reasons I started working out and trying to stay in shape was because I was being really stubborn about getting around on my own. I was living in the city of Boston, and I used to ride my bike, and I would crash into stuff. Oh my God, like construction barrels, or those those easels are with the red and white that are supposed to warn you of things, or people opening their car doors. I used to just get beat up out in the roads of Boston as I was trying to bike around, and I literally kept going to the gym to be like, I need to stay slightly bulked up to manage to survive all these crashes that I would suffer. So it was a bit of a difficult time in my 20s, and I found that just staying physically fit was beneficial to what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And I always liked being athletic, and it's benefited me coming out here to San Diego and wanting to get into surfing. A lot of the guys that I surf with, I think Josh met him when he was 22, and I was 15, 16 years older than him. A lot of the people I surf with are a lot younger, but I like to go out there and try and hang with them and compete and have as much fun as I can. This is the live Thursday call-in show, 760-517-6844. I'm Pete. Who's on the line right here?
This is Alex.
Alex, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just got off work.
Nice. What do you do?
I work at KinderCare.
KinderCare. What is your role there? Do you deal with all the kids?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Good for you. You and my fiance Banana. She's been a nanny her whole life, and I've had zero exposure to children. I'm an only child. I had no exposure to kids growing up, and being around her when I first started dating her, and she'd bring the little kids over. I'm like, oh my God, children are insane people. They're like people, but they're insane. And the patience to deal with kids, like, God love you. And you have to deal with how many at a time do you have in your care?
So the ratios are kind of different based on the class, but typically, like, we have everywhere from, we take kids as young as 2 months old.
Oh, wow.
So they're, I think it's 5 to 2. And then when you get into the older kids, that are around 5, it is 1 to 12.
Oh, that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
God love you.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids.
Do you make sure, like I was talking about at the beginning of the show, just kind of taking some time for yourself when you're done with that day? Do you just kind of come home and take a big breath and relax and just kind of enjoy your own space and your own quiet?
Yeah, because my God, I've gotten more used to it because when I first started working there, I had very, very, very little experience working with kids so young, but yeah, I'm actually somewhat immune to kids crying now. So
I am not. I'm not. There's a video when I was shopping in the mall. We were actually looking for shoes, and there was this kid just screaming his head off. And for someone that orients themselves to the world by sound, you know, I listen to all the voices. I'm not necessarily listening to people's conversations, but I'm kind of pinpointing, okay, there's 2 women behind me, there's a couple of kids over there, and that's just kind of how I like spatially orient myself. And even when I'm in the mall and when you talk, you can kind of hear your voice kind of bouncing off the wall when you're close to it, and it sounds different when it's bouncing off of glass versus bouncing off of drywall or something. And I really do orient myself by sound. And we were sitting there trying to like walk around this crowded Foot Locker, and this kid was just going, "Wah!" And I said to the camera, I'm like, I think I'm going to fall over. It was like messing with my equilibrium. It was a lot to deal with.
yeah, kids are a lot.
They are. Well,
kids are a lot.
I hijacked your call talking about your work. What did you have in mind? What did you want to talk about?
You're good. So I actually called maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But I just wanted to say, like working at KinderCare, I myself have a disability. I have hearing loss. And like working at KinderCare has also gotten me used to working with kids with disabilities, because there was a kid with cerebral palsy a while ago. But yeah, it's cool that you're almost normalizing disability.
Yeah, I that's something I kind of learned as I was doing the show, is that, you know, I went into this talking about my particular experience, being blind, and then I started realizing as I was sharing how I was treated in the world and how I interacted with people in the world. There was one of the very first women was a woman, a mother of 2 or 3 daughters in Kansas, who had MS, and she started telling me about her experiences and how she related. And then a lot of people with ADD, and a lot of people with autism, people with hearing loss, and then people with lost limb, you know, and then just people in the world who are struggling, because you give me 100 people and I'll show you 100 people with problems. Mine just happens to be really obvious. And I started sharing my troubles, and I think other people, you look at my comment section, and they're just long stories. People like to share. And I think it's nice. We all get to realize we're not alone in our struggles in this world, whether the struggles are something obvious like me losing my eyesight, or just something that, you know, you're just having a tough time in life. It's kind of nice to relate and share and realize that, like, through my logo, you know, find a way and my way of thinking. And a lot of people have adopted that over the years of me sharing. We can still live great lives, and that's one of the biggest joys for me on this channel, is sharing my stories and hearing other people saying that they're experiencing their life, experiencing joy and happiness and success in their life. This is the Thursday show with Pete. Who's this?
Hi, this is Lindsay.
Lindsay, what's going on?
I have so many questions. We have emailed a few times, you and I, because I volunteered. I went to the U.S. Open Adaptive Surf Competition in Oceanside, and that was amazing. And then a week or 2 later, I volunteered at Waves for All. And there was a guy there who was a blind surfer, who I spoke to him for like 20 seconds. And he's like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "No, I'm just visiting." He's like, "Did you tell me?" And he repeated exactly what I said to him 2 weeks prior.
Yep.
And that was amazing.
Was that?
So then I looked.
That wasn't me. Was that am I spoiling your story? Was that me or no?
No, it wasn't you,
Okay.
but I didn't know who it was. And so then I Googled blind surfer Southern California, and I got your email, and that's how I discovered you.
Okay. I'm sorry if I jumped on your punchline, but I wanted to, because then I started thinking, you're like, and then you remembered everything I said. I'm like, I don't remember anything you're saying right now. But yeah, that was probably a fellow by the name of Josh Loya. He's been featured in a couple of my videos. He's a nice guy. He's really into, he surfs in adaptive blind surf, and he surfs competitively. He's always trying to get me to go out there and surf competitively, and I don't. I do find that a lot of blind people, we've got pretty spectacular memories, especially when it comes to audio. I know basically whatever I hear, I can spit it back at some point because, you know, when you're not taking up your brain space with all that annoying visual content, what else are you going to do but remember everything you hear?
Right. Yep. Okay. I used to do voice acting like 25 years ago, and I want to get back into it. And I've kind of just been traveling for years. Well, I just moved to Colorado, so I'm going to have a home, which is unusual for me. Yeah. And I want to get back into voice acting. I know that you sell something like how to get into voice acting.
Yes. Yeah, it's called.
Can you tell us about that?
It's called Voice University. Depending on where the camera is set up today, I think there's a sticker of it on the back of my mixing board, but maybe you can't see it from where you are. But it's such a complicated, and you know, because you got into it at one point, getting into voice acting is such a journey, and it's not like a 1 day, 1 week, 1 year thing. It's you're changing your life and your lifestyle to pursue this goal. You know, it's not like normal jobs. It's not like I'm going to be an accountant or I'm going to be a therapist, like where there's a path and the course and a curriculum. It's big. And so people were asking me for years, how do I get into it? How do I get into it? And I couldn't figure out how to answer it in any succinct way. So I literally took 4 months, and I would sit in my studio and just talk about the whole process, really explaining the different ends of the business. I think a lot of people go into voice acting saying, I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be an audiobook narrator. I'm going to do radio. And they don't understand all the different avenues of voice acting, how many different routes you can take. And when you pigeonhole yourself, I spent years just going after radio stations because I thought that's all there was for me. I thought I was going to be a radio station imaging voice. And I spent like 6-7 years marketing myself to just radio. And I was like, oh my God, there's a whole other world out there with TV promos and narration and live events. And then all the streaming companies came on board and they needed narration, in-show narration. So the first thing I did in Voice University is I talked about every single aspect of the voiceover business. All the different ways that you can sell your voice and get into it. Then I talked about the equipment that you'd need, the places that you'd need to reach out to, some of the training that you need to get. I think I talked for about 47 or 48 hours, I think it was. And the editors chopped it down to about 3.5 or 4 hours of just me giving like the concise information about how to get into the business. And because I did have to pay editors and then the whole thing to, have it put up on voiceuniversity.com. They took control of it, and so it is for sale. It was a large investment. So we are selling the memberships for $99 to give you the whole course. And I kind of feel bad about that, but I did put a massive amount of work into it.
Cool. I think that you just touched on this, but just to verify, I looked at recently some other voice acting course for sale, and it was focused on how to act.
Right. Yeah.
How to read. I already know that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it at home on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people were like, oh, you can't teach me how to voice act over a course. I'm like, you're right. I know I can't. Like it's like teaching someone to be a good actor, and voice acting is in essence acting, is something that you need to do one-on-one and with a coach. I mean, I can give you the basics, but it really, it's not something I could just put in a video and go, no, follow these steps and become a voice actor. So that's why my thing was completely different. It really showed you how to do the business. And the shortcut to it, you know, for someone that's got some experience and some chops, if you want to do the pay-for-play sites or pay-to-play sites, you can sign up for voices.com or voice123.com, and you can start competing for jobs right there. You know, you're kind of, it's a casting or a cattle call. You know, there's some company that wants to hire a voiceover for maybe a couple $100. They'll put it out there and they'll accept 100 auditions and they'll scan through, and you may or may not get picked, but it gets you into the whole process and procedure of voice acting, getting a script, understanding what they want, recording it into your software, and then editing it and submitting a professional demo or audition. I do cover that in the course as well. I give the most simple ways to edit on your own. And these days I recommend a very, very simple program called Twisted Wave, which you can download right on your iPhone. You can edit with that. I mean, I edit on Pro Tools. There's Odyssey. There's GarageBand. There's a million ways to edit. But Twisted Wave, especially for people with eyesight that are so used to using their phone, like the pinch and zoom and stuff. I mean, you pinch in on your waveform and you tap cut, and then it's cut, and then you don't even need any instructions. It's so intuitive.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks. I look forward to purchasing it.
Sure. I hope it helps. I would love to get some feedback. There's been a bunch of people that have signed up. I've gotten a handful of people. At the end, I do recommend people team up with coaches because, like I said, you're not going to get better at voice acting unless you have a coach and you're really doing it day in and day out. So at the end of the course, I do recommend people team up with some coaches, and I give some recommendations. But if you feel like your skills are already there and you're doing well, you can just get right into the submitting, and you'll hopefully understand the whole process once you finish watching all the video.
Awesome. Okay. And I'm definitely a person who often gives feedback. So if I have some, you'll receive it.
That would be great. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. That's kind of funny. I just turned this thing into an ad for Voice University. I didn't mean to. I really did put that out there because I thought it'd be a really cool service for people to figure out how to get into voice acting. I'm trying to get into the, what happens if you call? Terminate is in the YouTube asking. The phone lines stay busy. Mentally Insane Gaming says, oh, cool. Mentally Insane Gaming. That's a good name. You get a busy message. Yeah, they just people are just talking. People are on YouTube talking about how to get into the phone. I can answer that. If you call 760-517-6844, I narrowed the call line down to just 6 people. When we very first did it, there were 60 people in there, so everybody was getting in. Everybody thought they were going to get on the show. What I did is I narrowed it down to just 6 people, and so those 6 people are sitting on hold. And what happens is when you get to the top of it, I'm going to do it to someone right now. I will answer the call, put them on hold, and while they're on hold, it says, "You're up next. Please mute your stream. Pete will be coming to you shortly." So when you hear that message, that means I'm going to be there's one person that's listening to that message right now. It's a robot voice, a female robot voice saying, "You're going to come up next." And we started doing that because when I just went to people out of the blue, they were hearing the stream, they were hearing themselves. It was just a lot of feedback. So I try and give them a little warning. So let's see if it worked. Hello, who is this?
Hello, I'm Caden.
Caden, what's going on? See, that worked seamlessly. You knew you were up.
Yeah. It was yelling at me on the phone back, right?
Sorry. Was the volume was too loud? You're up next.
That's right. But inspiring story, really. That's something. What made you really want to start surfing? Because I mean, you're a blind guy. It could be super hard for you, but like, what would make you like say, "I could do this. I'm going to do it"? Because I think that's really inspiring and that's really cool.
That was the I'm going to do it was definitely what ran through my head once I made the decision. It wasn't, I don't take on a lot of things in my life lightly. But before I take it on, it's not like I'm going to be a pilot and then kind of, oh, that didn't work because I can't see. I thought about it. And once I thought about it and I really kind of examined my options, and my options have become very narrow at that point. I'd grown up mostly sighted. I grew up as a competitive sailor and swimmer, and I played ultimate Frisbee. I used to play mini golf with my friends. I played basketball, soccer. I played football. When I had some vision, I played defensive back. And when I lost most of my vision, I played offensive line. I mean, all that to say, I'd been athletic my whole life. And as my vision crapped out, and the only thing that was left to me was powerlifting. I mean, I was only 172 pounds, and I was benching, I got up to 315, and I was squatting 495. And that was great. I had some goals, something that I could I'm going to go squat more today. And because I always like having goals and challenges and being physical. But in essence, I was just kind of crushing my joints and bones. And it wasn't an interactive hobby. I had a gym built in my house, and it was kind of getting depressing. And so we moved to San Diego. Literally everybody out here surfs. Like the greeting is, "How was the surf today?" Like, you don't even say hello, just, "How was the surf today?" And I had thought, being a guy that played all those sports that involved balls and frisbees and discs and stuff, I'm like, I can't do those anymore, but maybe I can get out there in the ocean and feel a wave coming. And the first time out, I saw the potential. I'm like, yeah, I think I can do this. I mean, it was really hard. The learning curve for surfing is got to be the hardest out of any sport out there. I mean, you're talking years before you get decent. But I saw that, not literally, obviously. Yeah. I saw the potential that this is a sport I think I'll be able to participate in. So I got a little neurotic about it. I was going as often as I could for as long as I could, just going out there and trying to assemble in my brain, when I hear the ocean doing this, I'm going to feel this a millisecond later. And so it was a long time of building a brain bank of, what I'm hearing versus what's about to happen. Whereas other people can just kind of look out and be like, there's a wave, it's coming, it's going to take me left, and it's here now. I had to do a lot of, this sound is happening. What is that going to do to me?
Yeah. Well, that's actually wild. I mean, I knew you were like fit because I've seen the gym videos, but speaking of gym, whatever happened to that gym lady, that one that screamed at you? You ever seen her again or heard her from her again?
No, and I did go back to that gym for a while. I wonder I have like this new love-hate relationship with the Facebook audience. I've recently started doing really well on Facebook. A lot of people there, but man, the comments on Facebook are the rudest across all platforms, because I did post an update about the gym girl, and I don't know if you saw this one, but it was just the video that went 85 million views on YouTube alone ended with the manager telling me, yeah, but you can't stare at people even though you're blind. But what happened afterwards was when I left, and when I was leaving the gym, the guy grabbed me and told me that I needed to sign the rules of the gym, indicating that I was aware that I couldn't make other gym members uncomfortable. And so in that video, I was like, I just signed the thing and walked out. And so many people on Facebook are like, you're an idiot. How dare you, or how crazy of you to sign something you didn't know what you were signing. And the thing was, I knew what I was signing because I signed it on the first day when my girlfriend and I went and signed up together. It was a 3-page pamphlet telling you about the gym rules, the classes that they have, the hours, the amenities, and on the back was the list of all the rules. And so he just handed me that same pamphlet and wanted me, it was a token gesture. He's like, I want you to understand the rules here. You can't make other gym members uncomfortable. So I couldn't see the pamphlet, but I knew what it was, and I just scribbled PG on it and went on my way. I did go back to that gym for about 3 more months, but that's the really weird thing about being blind is when you have a confrontation with someone, and this has happened to me in public, it's happened to me while I'm surfing, and it happened to me then, that for all I know, over the next 3 months, I was working out right next to that woman. I have no idea. I didn't know what she looked like. And, when she was talking to me, she was using her screeching, you can't stand me voice. So I never really got a sense of what her normal speaking voice was like. But yeah, I kept going to that gym for about 3 months until I moved to a different part of the Boston area and joined a different gym. She never confronted me. The gym manager never spoke to me again. We all just kind of stayed apart. But that is weird, knowing that manager and that woman could have been staring at me and looking at me. And ironically, because they'd accused me of staring at her, I couldn't do that back.
Yeah, I watched that. I was like, how does that work? But at the end of it, you're just a truly inspiring guy. I look up to that a lot. I'm taking up surfing. I'm hoping maybe I could be nearly as good as you, half as good as you, and I'll be okay. I'll be on my way.
Where are you? Where do you live? Do you live by an ocean?
I live by Mass, by Cape.
Oh, I'm originally from the Boston area.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my mom was born and raised on the Cape. I spent a lot of my summers down there on Cape Cod. Brewster is where my dad's parents used to have a place. I used to spend a lot of time down on the Cape. I have no idea what the surf is like. I've heard that there's a crap load of sharks in Cape Cod these days. So
it was a whole thing a couple, years ago.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for those things. But out here, we're kind of spoiled. This is I think there's certain parts of the West Coast that just have great surf, and this is one we can go any day of the week. Basically, there's always going to be something out there, and we get a little spoiled, and we're like, oh, this the surf's no good down in Rhode Island or whatever. But it doesn't need to be amazing. It just needs. It's just great to get out there. It's just such a nice fun, amazing, relaxing, can be relaxing sport. I encourage it to anybody to try it. So if you get the time and the opportunity and grab yourself a big foam board and get out there, I'd highly recommend it.
Yep. All right.
Well,
and then thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's cool to hear.
Have a good stream.
Thanks a lot. Let me pop back over to the. I wish I could pop over to the other platforms. This is just the YouTube one. By the rules, you can technically not stare at anyone ever. What rules? Oh, in the gym. Michael Film says hello. Michael Film says he's blind too, and this counts. Yes, but the physical facts you cannot stare at all. They're discussing my my whole thing at the gym where I was. That blew my mind. That video, by the way, that thing. I'd actually posted it in September of 2020, and it didn't get any views. It seriously didn't get any views. The whole gym story video. Say I got like 100 views. Like all of my videos just get like 100 views, 200 views, something like that. October of 2020, it ended up getting 1 million views in one day on TikTok. What's up, TikTok people? And then it didn't catch on YouTube. Here's the funny thing. So it was March of 2022. And I was just about to not call it quits, but I was going to stop working regularly on YouTube. I've been doing weekly videos and I've been doing a bunch of shorts as well. In March of 2022, I was basically like, I think I'm good with putting all this effort into it. And then, so September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months after I posted the gym story, half a year after I posted the gym story, that video randomly started to blow up. What the heck is the name of it? Gym Girl Yells at Me or something like that. And now it's got 85 million views on YouTube. It has like 12 million views on TikTok, and it's gotten so many reshares. It became like a topic of conversation on news programs and stuff. But yeah, I mean, anybody out there that's like trying to put I was just about to go to someone and they hung up. I just heard him go click. But yeah, anybody out there is trying to put content out and you're like, oh, my stuff doesn't have any views. It can happen at any time. Like I said, 6 months for the gym video to blow up, and to blow up to 85 million views. That's kind of crazy. It is the Thursday show with Pete, the Pete and Greed. Who's this? Hello. Did I lose you? I heard something.
No, I'm there.
Okay. Who's this?
This is Malachi from Tennessee.
Tennessee, what's going on?
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Fire away.
What was your favorite thing to voice over?
My favorite, I keep trying to think of that's been asked before. I keep trying to think of different ways to answer. I mean, my favorite thing ever was when I got to play Optimus Prime in a series of commercials for a company called Direct Line. I mean, that was kind of amazing. The very first movie trailer I ever got was playing Patrick's stomach in a SpongeBob sponge out of water thing. I think I do remember doing, like, this is going to sound weird because it doesn't sound like the greatest film in the world, but there was a Keanu Reeves movie called Replicas, and it was getting into the movie trailer world. Doing voiceovers for movie trailers was just a long road of rejection. Very hard, very elite group. Not a lot of people get to do it. And Replicas was the third movie out of 3 in a row that I got over the course of a couple months. And that really made me, I was like, oh my God, I'm finally like, I'm getting into this business. I'm going to be one of these guys. And I found out I was going to do that movie. And I love Keanu Reeves, mostly from his time with Bill and Ted's, also the Matrix movies. And I got to do one of his movies. The movie did not do very well at all, but I was just really, really excited to get that job, to know that I was going to be in the mix of being able to audition and be a guy that did movie trailers. So that was exciting for me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like Keanu Reeves. I think he does some pretty cool movies.
Yeah, I wish he doesn't have social media. Or if he does, I can't find it. He's a guy, you know, people talk about the things that I've had to overcome. He's had a crazy, difficult life, and to everything that you read about him is he's this amazing, generous guy. He's really humble. I wanted to reach out to him so bad. I thought it would be really cool. I'm always willing to learn a new skill or hobby or just something, activity. And he has his own line of motorcycles. He's a really big motorcycle guy. And I thought it would be so cool if I could somehow meet up with him and get on like a track, like a wide open track or a giant, even like a desert or something, and have him teach me how to ride a motorcycle. That's like my bucket list fantasy, would be able to do that with Keanu Reeves, because his story of perseverance and everything he had to overcome in his life was one of those things that I'd look at and be like, what's my excuse? I just lost my eyesight. What's the big deal? So I've used him as inspiration for my own life, and to do that would be cool. But I don't think some random YouTube guy is going to find Keanu Reeves, but it would be fun.
That was cool. I found your channel. It was just kind of random, and you sounded so familiar. And I remember hearing you on the news once, and then you said you were a voice actor, and I realized it was you.
You put the two and two together. That's kind of funny when when your worlds, you're like, wait, my YouTube guy is also my news guy.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your checking the stuff out. I appreciate the phone call. Let me check in on the time. All text to speech here in this world. It is
5:10 p.m.
5:10 p.m. So we'll be going for about another 20 minutes or so. Should I pop back into the chat? Every time I go into the chat, I feel like there's a delay. I feel like they're talking about stuff that happened a couple minutes ago. Oh, that's an old one. Someone has 30%. Someone says I have 30% vision left, and you should see me on my bike. Oh yeah, the wooden plaque for Superdog down in my garage. That thing's awesome. So the person that said they have 30% vision left, I get that a lot. Like a lot of people, like I have 5%, I have 16%, I have 27%. This must be a test that doctors are doing now. I stopped going to the doctors because they weren't doing anything for me other than give me painful tests, which is something I talked about in a short that I posted a while ago. I was never given a percentage because I don't even know how that works. Like, what's 100% division? I know what 0 is, but like, what if you have 20/20? If you have 20/10 vision, does that mean you have 110% division? I feel like I'm gonna have to look into that because people have been saying that to me for a very long time, how much percentage they have left. I mean, because I still have the ability to perceive light, do I have, like, what percentage of eyesight is that? Is that 7% of my eyesight? I mean, I have 0% useful. Like, I can't make anything out of the light. I don't know what the objects are. I don't know what the images are. I just know there's light and there's dark. So do I still have a percentage or not? I don't really know the answer to that. But this is the Thursday show, the Pete and Greet. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Simon.
Simon, what's going on?
Nothing really. I was just doing a bit of homework when I got a bit bored.
So I'm just here to distract you from your boring homework, huh?
No, I was just taking a little break, and I saw you. You were live streaming, so I just decided to see you. You
got a question or something you want to talk about?
Yeah. So right now, I'm in high school, so I'm filled with a lot of homework and a lot of that other stuff. So have you ever gotten overwhelmed? Because I'm constantly getting overwhelmed without the homework and the studies and the extracurriculars.
Yeah, well, it's good that you're doing all that stuff. What are your extracurricular activities? Are you in any clubs or do you do sports?
Yeah, I used to do sports, but now I'm doing chess. I'm volunteering to teach chess to younger kids.
Oh, cool.
And it's really, and it really hurts my brain a little.
I used to love chess. I used to play it a lot. Now I'm sure there's a way to do it with no eyesight, but it was a lot easier when I could look at the board and kind of see what was going on. I will say it's fantastic to stay busy, but if you do feel like you're getting overwhelmed by it, you might want to cut back one of the activities. If you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh crap, I got to teach chess to kids. That's stressing me out. Maybe that's something you can cut back on. But if it's something you look forward to, you're just kind of stressed about how to fit it into your schedule. You got to assess your whole schedule. I find that a lot of people can handle a lot more than they think they can. They're just really bad at time management. I feel like time management is like the root of many, many problems for people. I mean, do you feel like you don't have enough time in the day, or do you feel like the activities and the homework that you're getting are just not enjoyable, so you're not looking forward to them?
Yeah, thank you a lot. Yeah, one of my biggest problems is time management. I go to sleep some days at 1 a.m. because I just can't do everything.
Yeah, when I was in school, I was in a lot of clubs and I played a lot of sports and I did all AP and honors classes. So it was a full workload, but I was really regimented with my time. As soon as I got home from school, whether it was right after school or right after the sport, I walked upstairs to my bedroom and I sat down and I opened the books or turned on the audiobooks if it was the books on tape at the time. And I wouldn't come out of my room until I was done with my homework. And even if my friends wanted to like play basketball or hang out or play video games or something, I wasn't comfortable doing that until I finished my schoolwork. I was very regimented with my time. I used to do swimming, and we had to swim from, what was it? Like 4 to 6 in the morning. So I'd have to wake up at 3:20 to get to the pool and then swim before school. So I was getting a whole activity done basically before everybody else was awake. But yeah, two things. If you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, if it's just too much, don't feel afraid to cut back on it. I mean, you don't need to be all stressed out when you're trying to get through school, which is hard enough as it is. If you have too many activities, talk to your parents or just make the decision yourself that, one of them might need to go. But if you feel like you want to keep doing them all, and it's just a time thing, start putting things. I know Banana does this. She has a daily planner, a daily calendar, and she'll say like, work on resume from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Like she will regiment her time because she knows that's the best way to keep her on track and to have her not get stressed out about it. Do you think anything like that might help you out with time management?
Yeah, like I've just been like too lazy to like start my own calendar, and I might start doing that because I don't know, I just feel like I do things better when I like do them naturally and when I like feel like it, even though that might not be the best way to do things.
I mean, it sounds like you're motivated, getting your homework done. You're doing the chess thing. I mean, you sound smart. You sound like you've got some desire and drive. But if you are getting overwhelmed by it, I would just kind of assess the time you're spending each day. I mean, teachers stink. Homework is horrible, but generally they don't give you more than you can handle. And it's just a matter of getting it done at the right. I remember being in school because I was so regimented with my school. They'd give us a mildly big project and be like, oh yeah, that took a extra hour last night. And then, other kids would be like, oh yeah, I screwed around. I went out, I got an ice cream and it took me all night. And I'm like, well, it didn't need to take you all night. Just being regimented and organized, being organized is a big help in life, in school and the rest of life going forward.
Oh, thanks. Okay. And just one last thing. Have you ever felt like overwhelmed when you started like surfing or like doing the content creation and all that?
Surfing I talked about 20 minutes ago to another guy about how intent I was to learn it, and that I did see that there was potential. But I will tell you, after the very first day, very, very, very first day, and I've always seen myself as an athletic person, and I didn't think laying on my stomach and then popping up and standing on my feet would be that hard. But my first day was this big, huge day in the ocean, and I basically just went out there and got beat up. Like, just got thrown around, tossed around, got thrown on the beach a bunch of times. I didn't get too injured. Banana actually broke her toe. I think that was like the second or third time that we went surfing together. She broke her toe really early on. And I was sitting in the car. She was driving me home, and I was really in my head. I was really kind of freaking out. Like I saw the potential that I might be able to surf, but then I saw how difficult it was not being able to see the waves coming at me. And I started getting really nervous about, I want to do this, but how am I going to be able to work around not being able to see the danger coming at me? And I got really nervous in my head. I got home, I got in the shower, and I actually got so worked up about it that I started to tear up. I honestly did, Simon, because it was one of the few sports that I thought I could still do, and I got it in my head. I was so optimistic. I went to the surf shop and I got the surfboard and I got the fins and I got everything I needed to surf, and I was like, I'm going to be a surfer. And I went out there and I just got beat to heck, and I got really scared that I wasn't going to be able to do it. But I kind of calmed myself down. I think a part of the fact that I was tearing up in the shower was also I was in a lot of pain. I'd gotten beat up pretty good. But I calmed myself down and I started, going through my checklist. Like, is this something I want to do? Yes, I want to do it. Is this something I think I can do? Yes, I do believe I'll be able to surf at some point. What do I need to do in order to get better at it? I need to put in the time and I need to persevere. These are the checklist of things that I always go through in my head when I have something that I want to accomplish. And I checked all the boxes. I wanted to. I felt like it was possible. I was willing to put in the time. I was willing to put in the effort. So I reset myself, took the week off to kind of heal up from that horrible session, and went right back at it the next weekend and just started getting better as time went on.
Wow, that's awesome. That's some like insane determination. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the call, Simon. I appreciate it. We're at about 55 minutes. TikTok people, I don't know. The stream automatically shuts off. I've written to them like 6 times now. If unless I go over there and write a comment, which I can't do, or I solve a puzzle, which I obviously can't do. I wrote them. I was like, I'm blind. How do you expect me to solve these stupid puzzles that you've got going on? I will get kicked off TikTok at about an hour, so that might happen in a few minutes, but we might wrap up on all platforms at that point anyway. We're going to take a couple more calls. Let me pop into since I set this whole thing up, this is the YouTube stream. Is it there? Oh, someone asking about what text-to-speech software I use and why. I don't use JAWS. It's a very popular one. I use one called Claroread, Claroread, and also mostly I just, as you just saw right there on the iPad, I just use the text-to-speech built into the iPhone. Most of the reading, even in my scripts these days, I'm doing it sometimes on the computer, but a lot of times I'm doing it right off my phone. So, and the text-to-speech software on the phone is pretty spectacular. 760-517-6844 is the number. Who's this?
My name is Janelle.
Did you say it one more time? Janelle or Denel?
Janelle.
Janelle, what's going on?
Dude, honestly, I'm just calling you to like thank you for like your content, because like I've been a fan of you for like forever, and honestly, your content inspires me.
That's really cool to hear.
You're like basically the best YouTuber ever.
Well, that's my numbers don't prove out that I'm the best, but I'm very proud of the message that I've put out. And it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I'm generally a positive person. I try and keep I'm quick to smile, quick to laugh, generally pretty happy, coming each day with a positive attitude. But it's funny that YouTube basically taught me, when you put out videos and you see how people respond, when I did put out a video that was like, this is difficult, this is hard, if I ever had any like grr or grumpiness it didn't do well. And then, when I was like, this is difficult and here's how I overcame it, and those videos would start to do really well. It's like, YouTube informed me that people like positivity, which is great. I love the fact that at least my audience is getting fed positivity. But then you look at the really popular YouTubers that just kind of like thrive on controversy, and I'm like, I don't know. Like I didn't want to go that route. I didn't want to be a controversial. I didn't want to talk about the news or politics or anything like that and just wallow in misery every day. Like, I'm super happy that I get to post videos that give people inspiration, that make them smile. Like, if that's my niche, I'm really happy to be living in it. So it's cool to know that you enjoy them.
Yeah. Bro, like, just don't listen to the haters. Keep continuing, like, making content, because, like, you're just the best, bro.
Thank you. It is. I've been trying to moderate my time in the comments. It's so hard when you can't skim, and I just have to listen to the comments. Like 99% of the comments are pretty good. People sharing their own stories or just being positive. But it does stink when you come across when someone's like, you're faking being blind, or something that I put out there, they call me stupid, and I'm like, you don't even know me. How can you call me stupid? I gotta say, I've cut down on the comments. I used to just let the comments come in, like roll in throughout the day. It was like running commentary throughout my day. I just have hundreds of comments that would just kind of play in the background. It was like listening to the radio for me, basically. I just listened to the comments, and that's a weird way to live. Like, I did that for about 3 months, and I'm like, you know what? People are not meant to have the opinions of other people blasted at them all day, every day. It was like messing with my head. And like, the more positive the comments were, the better of a day I'd have. Or if I had a day where the comments were like kind of negative, or people hated the video or something, I found that they were like ruining my day. I'm like, I don't want to live like this. So I basically had to turn off the running commentary. They would just come in through text to speech, and eventually I turned it off. And now I go in the comment section when I want to. And I listen for it. It tells me the name of the person that's about to, write the comment before I hear it. So a lot of times I look for the people that I have a quote unquote relationship with, because I know they're not going to ruin my day. I'm sensitive. I got 3 million social media followers, and I think people expect, like, you're in the public eye, you should have a tough skin. Like, I don't. I'm really kind of sensitive. And when people send mean stuff, it like bums me out. So it's a tricky thing. But that's why I wanted to do this, to hear from you and other people that say that the videos mean something to them. Like, I love having a conversation. I love talking about that. And I think people are more apt to have a positive conversation when you're one-on-one with them, as opposed to put them in front of a keyboard and just have them be like, you're an idiot. It's too easy to do that in comments.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first video? Let me ask you, do you remember the first video that you saw of mine? What did they feed you? I feel like,
what do you mean?
Like, what was the very first video of mine that you saw? Was it the gym video, or did you get like an unboxing? Do you remember the first one that you saw?
It was like a video where like you were explaining, it was a sad video that your dog like passed away.
Yeah,
that was the first video I ever saw, and that made me really sad.
Yeah, made me sad too. His picture, I don't know if it's in the frame, but just off my right shoulder is a picture of Super Dog right there. This is something that I've been.
Yeah, I see it.
I've been. It's in the frame. You can see it. That's cool. For years, as I've been making the videos, a lot of times, in the middle of the video or near the beginning, I'll be like, da 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 da, and I'm blind, or because I can't see it because I'm blind, and a lot of the people, because I'd gotten popular, a couple million followers on YouTube alone, people are like, stop saying that you're blind, and I'm like, what if there's like someone that's watching this video for the first time, and like, I'm like trying to explain that I'm lost in a mall, and they're like, how can you get lost in a mall? Just walk out, you doofus. And so like I put in the videos where it's appropriate that I'm blind. It's like this tightrope balance. Like, yes, a lot of people know, and so they might get annoyed that I like continually repeat it to them. But for the people that come to the videos for the first time, it's not going to make any sense unless I explain it. So it's weird. It's weird, like being mildly popular, but knowing that everybody doesn't know the story. I do have to reset every once and again and let people know that, yes, I'm blind. I can't see. So if you're watching this video and it looks like I'm about to fall off a cliff, I'm not just taking a pratfall. I don't know the cliff is there. But thank you for the call. Thank you for watching the videos. Let's see. Let's do one more call. What do we? I think we lost TikTok already. Probably. What? Why is my done? Oh, I think it's done. Are we done? No, we're still on, I think. 5:26. Yeah, we'll do one more call. One more call on the Thursday Pete and Greet. Thank you to everybody that has called, everybody that watches the videos. Thank you to everybody. We'll just take this one more phone call, see what we got right here. Who is this? Hello, hello. Come on, I said one more. It's got to be a good one. All right, I'm going to kill that one. I kill that one by pressing this button down here. Can you guys see this? This is my little call taking thing. And then I hear a noise in my ear. It tells me that we have a call coming in. I'm just going to take it straight up and we'll see who it is. Last call of the day. Who's this?
Hey, this is Dr. Adam. How are you?
Good. Did you say Dr. Adam?
Dr. Adam, yeah. I'm a chiropractor out of Michigan.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to tell you that, I try to focus my patients on positivity when a lot of negative happens. And that is what I see in your videos, is regardless of how negative things or surroundings can be, you always try to find the positivity. And so I've been telling a lot of patients, and even one of my coaches who has been struggling with losing his vision, to look you up and try to get in contact with you because of how well you've done with your transitions.
That is. Thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for bringing this whole episode full circle. The manifesting positivity. I'm really glad that I took this phone call. That is something that I didn't realize I was doing. People were pointing it out to me. I'd take difficult situations where people would confront me, and the guy that confronted me in the bathroom and accused me of faking being blind, or the people out in the lineup that are me. I could take these videos and be like, this jerk. Can you believe this? Can you believe I have to deal with this? And then, attack the intelligence or lack of intelligence of the person and go after them. Even the gym girl video where I was talking about how the girl was, yelling at me for staring at her, even though I explained I was blind. I did it with a smile, because to me, that's how you have to approach these situations. I could have stormed out of that gym, like 99% of the comments, like, you should sue the gym. And yeah, I guess I could get myself worked up, and I could be mad at the manager, and I could be angry at the woman. But then that's just a really bad headspace to be in. If you're mad at the world for not understanding you or not being smart enough to, in your eyes, to grasp a situation, I found to deal with all these situations with a smile and a lighter attitude, and just, they didn't understand, and that's okay. I'm going to move on. And I felt like I didn't really intend to frame my videos that way. I guess it's just an expression of my personality. And it's really nice to know that you've noticed that. Can I tell you, your profession, I, for years, have had a bad lower back. I have a ruptured L4 that happened when I was in high school. It's never healed, obviously. And I went to orthopedic surgeons that recommended different surgeries. And I even had a, what's the epidural? What's the shot that they can give you in your back? Cortisone shot or something?
Well, they'll do cortisol or cortisone rather, or they'll do like a Botox.
Yeah, I had a cortisone shot in my back. It did absolutely nothing. And when we moved out to San Diego, there was a chiropractic office. I'd never been. I didn't know. I just, I knew I had a ruptured disc, and I'm like, what are they going to do for it? The woman came down, felt my back, then she showed me a skeleton that she had in her office, a plastic one, I assume, told me how it was supposed to be aligned, and explained to me that something an orthopedic surgeon had never explained to me at all was that I have to keep my vertebra more loose than other people, because with that ruptured disc, the inside of it will start getting pinched, which was causing massive back pain. And she gave me a regimen of stretching that I now do 4 days a week. And I used to get laid up. Like I'd be on the floor for 3 days at a time when the pinch would occur. Ever since I saw the chiropractor and she put me on this schedule of bending and stretching and keeping it loose, I've been living a much healthier and much better life. So thank God for your profession. You guys know some cool stuff.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate hearing that.
Where are you at?
It's amazing. I'm in northern Michigan. I'm closer to the North Pole than I am to the equator. I'm right about at the 45th parallel. In a little town called Elk Rapids. And
is your practice there?
Yeah, so my practice is called MI, like MI for the abbreviation of Michigan.
Yeah.
So My Family Chiropractic.
Cool. And is it, I feel like that's one of those things that people walk out and going, I feel better. It's one of those instant, like, oh my God, I feel better. Is that what you experience with your clients a lot?
I would say about 50% of the time. Sometimes they're really bad, and it takes a few visits before they start to see some change.
Well, I think I know every time I walked out, I was like, oh, so much better. And then as time went on, I stuck with the exercises. My life just got better and more comfortable. So thank you to you and the people in your profession. It was huge help for my life.
Well, thank you for that.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate the phone call. We're going to, let me see, I'm going to reach forward, pull that volume down, fire off my music. See, I can do all this stuff without having to see it. Who needs eyeballs? I mean, I'd like them, but yeah. So we're going to try and do this every Thursday going forward. I love talking to you guys. I love the opportunity to hear from people, and I try and keep a little theme going with them, but it's nice basically just to hear, what you guys are going to talk about. It'll kind of let you set the agenda. So I'm going to let this music play, get behind the camera, press some buttons, turn everything off, and I'll be back next Thursday for the Thursday Pete and Greet. Thanks to everybody for calling and watching. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. I like it when people subscribe. The more people subscribe, the more that the platform thinks that, people like you, and then they'll feed you to other people. So do that. Subscribe, follow, and I'll see you next time. That's a lie. I won't see you. You'll see me. I'll hear you.